Hey, what's up guys? How you doing again? So again, I'm just going to do another quick video explaining something, again, another sort of concept that is super valuable in terms of having a breakthrough. And I mean that term breakthrough, I think it's just a good way of describing these sort of catalytic moments of thinking where suddenly a realization clicks into place that transforms your view of the world. And these come in many forms and very regularly and to differing degrees. But this this concept is something for me that made a huge difference. And I think it's very valuable in considering when you are pursuing knowledge. So I'll probably call this video the biggest blockage to the pursuit of knowledge, right? So if you reverse that, then you will get a really valuable tool in order to expand your intellectual horizons. So when I was studying in university, right, I went to a philosophy program that did something called a seminar, right, where we would get a text, we'd have some lectures about a topic, we'd get a text, and then we all met together in a group and we discussed the text, right? This is, it's extremely good training, and maybe in the future we'll open up a program like that in terms of seminars where people who want to can pay very little, and together we learn how to be extremely accurate and complex in our understanding, right? So in seminar, one thing that I always noticed that was something that it was very significant to me was this. We get a text which is usually really complex, and it's philosophical text, foundational philosophical text. And we would get, something like 30-40 pages of it, which would, elucidate one key point, or would kind of carry on a message which was along the lines of the course that we were learning, right? So this was the thing that I noticed all the time, constantly, and it's something that occurs all the time in different contexts, and that if you are really sincere about your pursuit of knowledge and you really want to expand your horizons and understand the world on a much larger scale, then noticing this will really help. So we would all get this text, and we would come into class or into the seminar, and what would happen was this. Every single person would have, well, you could see the people who were really looking and the people who were not. But the point was that what would happen is that every single person, majority of people, would get caught up. They would read the text to a certain point, and they would pick out something that they either agreed with or disagreed with, and then that's all that consumed their whole understanding of the text. So when you have a room of 20 people and the majority of people do this, what you find is that you have a room full of people who are actually talking about totally different things, and no one's talking about the text, right? And so you can expand this to life in general, which is that this is a huge blockage in actually seeing what's going on, is this attachment to what really is at root the desire to be right, okay, to be correct. Because as soon as we insert this desire to be correct, then we'll find that actually we get caught up in trying to prove or disprove some feeling that we have, and we actually don't look at all the facts and understand them in a clear way. So I think for me, I had a sort of breakthrough myself by noticing this in this context, where I realized actually that if someone, right, has believed something enough in order to act on it, to say it, to consider it as a truth or something valuable enough or coherent enough that they take it on board, what we have to understand is that actually there is a logic to it. There's a sense in there. If it has enough coherence in order for someone to hold it, to share it, to believe it, to act on it, then it has coherence within it. It has a sense. And if we really, really want to understand life properly, or if we want to be able to transcend the intellectual boundaries that we have, then we have to understand that in order to really see the world in all its complexity, then we need to be able to see the sense in what other people are saying. And that's fine. If you think it's wrong, that's fine. But the only way to truly express that is by understanding or being able to accurately understand the sense, and then you can see analyze whether or not you think it's correct. But just on a real level, if you are very, very precise in your reading and you're very accurate in you have the desire to be very accurate in your understanding, you will see that anything that has sense could the truth is only in the sense that it has the coherence that it has within the framework that it's expressed, right? So you in terms of any argument, you have the grammar, you have the logic, and then you have the rhetoric, right? You have the grammar, which means all the pieces, all the individual actors or nouns, basically. Then you have the logic of how they all fit together, and you have the rhetoric of what that means. All coherent statements have these elements in them, and by examining them properly and really analyzing things like this, and with the idea that it's true in that sense, right? Because the fact is, truth is outside of language. Language creates truth through its coherence within its own. It presents its case, and it presents its all of its items and the dominating logic, and then through that it creates its own coherence. That's the nature of all language. So the funny thing is, really, when we go into like philosophy and stuff like that, wanting to find the truth, but then you really realize that actually truth is constructed within the language game itself. And that reality is outside of that. But the best way to get to the reality outside of that and to transcend this paradigm of thinking is to really examine all the different arguments and to play with them as if they're real. I think it's Aristotle someone said that it's a sign. It's the first sign of true intelligence to be able to hold multiple conflictory ideas in mind without see the multiple truths at once, even though they're conflicting. And that is the fact, because who knows? The fact is, think about this. We are so minuscule. Our minds are even smaller. The universe is so vast. If you really look at how big it is, who knows what's true? Probably everything we think is totally false. So there's no point in getting so caught up in trying to hold on to some idea or to think that we could suddenly or even understand the extraordinary complexity of the universe. It's actually totally arrogant and very small-minded to even consider that. So, to sum it up, wrap it up, the point is this. If you really, really are sincere in your desire to really expand your mind, don't forget about what's true and what's not. Just look at people's arguments and try and understand the logic, the coherence, and then analyze that, right? That's the most useful thing you can do. Everything else is just sort of power game. So, yeah, that's the one for today. If you like it, follow, subscribe, and we'll speak again later.